We're going to show you the efficient way on how to build a dirt pad. In one of the last episodes, we talked about some of the prep that we do before we get to the initial stage of construction, which is building a dirt pad. And a lot of people don't even realize how important this stage is in the process. Ultimately, a lot of times I'll say, hey, we're going to be building your pad, and they think that we're going to obviously be pouring concrete in a slab. But the reality is that the foundation starts with the dirt work that's associated with the project. So today we're going to give you a behind the scenes look of what it's like working with Bill George Demo and Grading Service. And they're working on our pad today, getting us all set and leveled out. So let's go through the process of what that looks like. So the first thing that we're going to be doing when we're out here on site is we're going to be staking the property accordingly to a 5-foot blowout. This mark is critical during the excavation process. Ultimately, it's the marker that allows us to be able to make sure that we meet the engineered requirements that are on our soils report and allows the excavation team to over-X the pad accordingly. So as you might have guessed, over-X essentially stands for over-excavation, and ultimately we're going to be excavating all of the existing dirt that is sat on this specific infill lot for 50 years. And what that's going to do is it's going to allow us to be able to capture any voids from any of the previous demolition that took place from the house that was previously standing here. It allows us to make sure that we get any plumbing lines, electrical lines, any concrete, any voids, make sure that we are checking to ensure that any septic systems or old leach fields are taken care of and that they're essentially removed prior to setting/placing our foundation. So typically, our over-X process is going to be a 2-stage process. So they're going to dig and they're going to excavate. In this case, we're about 2.5 feet down on one side of the property so they could be able to have a place to be able to position or stage the pile of dirt that's created. And then they're going to go through a compaction, which is typically just taking care of what kind of you're seeing now with the machinery that's utilized in this process. And ultimately, they're going to get a compaction report. And so when they get to the bottom of the basin, they're going to go ahead and they're going to make sure that it's compacted. They're going to roll it over with their machine multiple times to make sure that it's a solid foundation. And then our friends over at Claire Adams Engineering, they're going to come out, they're the ones that did the soil report. So they're going to come out and they're going to do a compaction test. They're going to make sure that it's properly compacted. And they're going to do that multiple times throughout the stages of building the final pad. This is probably one of the most crucial steps in lot prep for us, as it ensures that all those voids and all those imperfections that were found during the initial over-X are recompacted down appropriately all the way until we get to our pad height. So given the small lot sizes that we have here at Turney and Monte Rosa, the pads are going to be done very efficiently. And as you can see behind me, we have one of the team members with the small excavator that is doing the over-X. As mentioned previously, a 2-stage process. So on one side, it's already been over-X'd, and the loader is now recompacting and coordinating with Claire Adams to come out here every 6 inches to do that compaction test. Meanwhile, we're over-Xing the second stage, which you see right here behind me. So as we move to the other side, a few feet behind me, you'll see that we're almost at finish grade of what the final pad will be. This height is dictated by the city codes that are required for our civil engineer to put into his approved sets of plans. And ultimately, once both sides are complete, they'll go ahead and they'll finish with the final layer, skimming it as flat as possible so that it's ready for our foundation. Upon completion of that last piece, we'll get our final compaction test taken care of, and we'll get a certification document that's required by our soils engineers, our geotechnical engineers specifically, that allow us to be able to show the inspector that we're officially ready to build as soon as we have our residential building permits. And we get to our first official construction inspection, which is our footings inspection.